The Australian motorsport community continues to reflect on the life and legacy of Allan Moffat following the announcement of his passing at the age of 86. But among the many statements, reports, and tributes shared since the news broke, one message has captured more attention than any other. It is the emotional tribute delivered by Moffat's son, a message that has moved fans, drivers, officials, and commentators throughout Australia and across the international racing world. His words have shaken the motorsport community, not only because they reflect a son's grief, but because they reveal who Allan Moffat was away from the public eye. Moffat died peacefully after what the family described as a long and courageous battle with Alzheimer's disease. His passing was confirmed on his official Facebook page, where the family released a detailed statement expressing both sorrow and gratitude. They acknowledged the overwhelming support Moffat had received throughout his illness and thanked fans for their years of loyalty. They also described him as a man who lived with integrity, discipline, and passion, traits that defined his extraordinary career and the reputation he built over 5 decades in the sport. The emotional tribute from his son emphasized the personal side of Moffat's life. He spoke openly about the challenges the family faced as Alzheimer's progressed, explaining how difficult it was to watch a man known for precision, focus, and competitive awareness slowly lose connection with memory and language. However, his tribute highlighted the strength Moffat displayed during this chapter. According to his son, Moffat confronted his illness with the same determination that once carried him through iconic races at Bathurst and Sandown. His son stated that although fans remember Moffat for his victories, it was his courage during the final years of his life that revealed the depth of his character. This tribute immediately spread across major sporting platforms. Fans shared excerpts on social media. Racing networks replayed the message during coverage. Journalists referenced his words in columns. Former drivers and teammates commented on how deeply the tribute reflected the man they knew behind the scenes. It provided an intimate view of a motorsport figure who had, for most of his career, chosen to keep his private life separate from public attention. Moffat's public achievements make his place in Australian motorsport history unmistakable. Born in Canada in 1939, he moved to Australia as a teenager. He began racing in the early 1960s, eventually moving to America to compete against some of the strongest fields in the world. When he returned to Australia in 1969, he did so with the confidence and experience of a driver ready to take on the country's top touring car competitors. What followed were several years of extraordinary success. Driving a Ford Mustang, Moffat dominated the racing scene between 1969 and 1972. He won a remarkable 101 championship and non-championship races from 151 starts, building a reputation for speed, consistency, and technical understanding. He also won the Bathurst 1004 times and claimed the Australian Touring Car Championship title on 4 separate occasions. These achievements made him one of the most successful drivers of his era, and his rivalry with Peter Brock remains one of the most famous in Australian sporting history. His son referred to this era in his tribute, noting how much preparation went into every race. He described Moffat as a man who approached racing with extreme discipline, often spending long hours reviewing technical information, studying his car's performance, and planning strategies. His son explained that racing was not just a job for Moffat, but a commitment to excellence. It was a craft he wanted to master, and a field where he demanded precision from himself and from his team. Those who knew him said Moffat had a serious demeanor in the paddock, but was deeply supportive of younger drivers. His son's tribute reinforced this, describing a father who believed in mentorship and who valued the development of the sport as much as his own success. This commitment earned him respect long after his final race. Many of today's top drivers grew up hearing stories about Moffat's professionalism and discipline, and several have spoken publicly about how his son's tribute reminded them of what they admired most about him. The racing community's response to Moffat's death reflects the scale of his influence. Supercars chief executive James Warburton described him as one of the greatest we will ever see and highlighted how Moffat transformed not only the competitive side of racing, but also the business model behind it. Warburton explained that Moffat revolutionized sponsorship negotiations, introduced new levels of professionalism to team operations, and played a key role in shaping the commercial foundation of modern touring car racing. According to Warburton, the systems and structures Moffat helped introduce continue to influence the paddock today. Moffat's son referenced this impact in his tribute as well. He said his father cared deeply about the future of motorsport and wanted to leave the sport in better shape than he found it. He also emphasized how proud Moffat was of the young drivers who grew up studying his races. His son thanked these drivers for honoring his father's legacy through their own achievements and dedication. In addition to his racing accomplishments, Moffat spent his later years advocating for Alzheimer's awareness. After receiving his diagnosis in 2019, he became the patron of Dementia Australia and worked with his family and supporters to establish the Allan Moffat Foundation. His goal was to ensure that people living with Alzheimer's had access to care, resources, and support. His son spoke emotionally about this part of his father's life, describing it as a mission that became deeply personal for the entire family. He encouraged fans to continue supporting the foundation so that others impacted by Alzheimer's could receive the help they deserve. The tribute from Moffat's son did more than honor his legacy. It provided closure for fans who had followed Moffat's career for decades. It explained how the family navigated his illness, how they supported him during difficult periods, and how they found strength in the community of fans who continued to stand by him. The tribute resonated strongly across the motorsport world, prompting current and former drivers to share their own memories. Many spoke about Moffat's professionalism, his leadership, and the influence he had on the evolution of the sport. The announcement that Supercars will honor Moffat at the upcoming Adelaide Grand Final further demonstrates the scale of respect he earned throughout his career. The tribute at the event will include acknowledgments from racing officials, drivers, and industry leaders. Although details have not yet been released, the recognition will likely reflect the enormous contributions Moffat made to Australian motorsport and the lasting impact of his achievements. The response to the son's tribute also reflects how deeply Moffat's story resonates with fans across generations. For older fans, it is a reminder of an era when Moffat and Brock defined Australian touring car racing. For younger fans, it is an opportunity to learn about the history of the sport and better understand the foundations that modern supercars racing is built upon. Moffat's influence extends beyond numbers and records. His approach to driving, his understanding of competition, and his dedication to motorsport shaped entire decades of racing culture. His son's tribute highlighted these qualities in a way that statistics alone could never capture. By speaking honestly about the challenges of Alzheimer's and the strength his father displayed during his final years, he provided a complete and deeply human portrait of the man behind the legend. As the motorsport world prepares for the official tributes at Adelaide and continues to reflect on Moffat's achievements, the emotional message from his son stands as the voice that defines this moment in the sport's history. It honors a father, a champion, and an icon whose legacy will remain central to the story of Australian motorsport.